What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8, volume 2 of Big Fan, Hickory's fastest growing podcast. My name is Chad East, and I'm a big fan of TheraFlu, March Madness beach trips, and state being in the NIT.
My name's Hank Eimer, and I'm a big fan of the Carolina-Duke rivalry. The beginning of baseball season, and that round orb that's in the sky that actually is producing heat, and we're not seeing any rain. I'm a big fan of that.
You mean the sun?
I am.
Oh, yes, Hank. I've missed that sun greatly, too. And actually, we got to enjoy a little sunshine today on the tennis courts.
We did.
Congratulations to you.
On another victory.
Another victory and another loss for me. These losses are piling up.
They are piling up.
However,
what?
It really mattered in our real league last Wednesday. Tell the audience how we did, Hank.
We had our first match.
Yes.
Team captain, Hank Eimer, puts Chad in a match that he knows he can win.
Oh, but number one. I was the number one singles match, meaning they should put their number one player against our number one player.
Sure.
What it should happen, right?
Sure. And you came out victorious. You're the only one that won.
Yes. Ooh, what's that say about our team?
Oh, we know what it says about our team. We are not very good, and but you know what? We had fun.
We did have a good time.
We had a good time. There was some bad shots, some good shots. There was a broken racket. Yeah.
Curse words.
Yeah, curse words.
A lot of curse
There's plenty
words.
of it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good time for our first match. You know, we'll get better as the season progresses.
Yeah.
This year, I predict States.
States.
We're going to States this year.
We're going to States.
We missed it last year, but we're going this year.
All right,
buddy. So we've been out of the studio for about, I think it might be 2 to maybe even 3 weeks. Encountered a little illness over the last week, Hank.
Ooh.
I fell into the flu.
That's gross. Do you take flu shot?
No. Can I tell you the story behind this? So the one time I took the flu shot, I'd say it's been about 8 to 10 years ago, I got the flu.
Okay.
So I've just decided I won't take the flu shot anymore. And I've dodged it here and there. I had it about 5 years ago, but then it was a weird strain is what the doctor said. There's a new strain of the flu going around. It doesn't cause much nausea or diarrhea or whatever. It's basically
the bottle flu. Is that what you call it? Because you know that. You know how that
Shoot,
comes
I got
about.
that one down, dude. This one's not the bottle flu. This isn't the Sunday morning wake up with the flu symptoms, after a Saturday night. Sunday scary day. This is, so I woke up on Wednesday feeling really sluggish. And as the day progressed, my throat started hurting. I had a headache the whole day. And when I got home from work that Wednesday, I laid down and literally by 9 o'clock, I could not move. I had the aches. The aches settled in. The nose started running, the sore throat, the headache. So I had to work out on Thursday. I could not move. But Friday, my daughter's 10th birthday, we're supposed to go to Atlanta. I can't let her down. What am I to do? I can't not go on the trip. We planned it for 6 months. Yeah, I'm the daddy. So I said, Jennifer, if you don't mind driving, I'll get in the back and just let me lay and take a lot of TheraFlu and just sit back there and maybe
everyone
get everyone sick. Had a little surgical mask on, everything I can do to prevent everyone else.
You did not wear a surgical mask.
I didn't, but Olivia wanted me to so bad. She literally said, I'm not getting in that car with you until you put the surgical mask on, Dad. And I'm like, Olivia, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Right. Anyway, I rested. By Friday, we got there. feeling just terrible. Get to the hotel. I just lay. They eat. Come back on Saturday because our Saturday day started at 9:30 at the aquarium. Mm-hmm. So I mustered through it. Got to the aquarium. Got to do all the other things that we needed to do with the flu.
You're a champion.
With the flu, Hank.
You're a champion. True champion.
Yes.
Yeah, look at him sitting there. He's clapping. He's standing ovation.
Thank you very much.
You know what? No man has ever done that before. No man. You have done more than any man has ever done.
The one and only Chad East to the rescue. Yes.
I went to a museum with the flu on this day. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Your kids should be so proud.
Yeah, they are.
Do you know what? If I were in that aquarium, I'd be pissed if I knew you came in there and you're mashing all the buttons.
Touching all the, looking through the tank with my hands on the windows,
banging at the whale shark.
Right. Have you been there?
Oh, yeah.
When you first see the whale shark, is it not one of the most amazing things ever to imagine an animal that huge is in this tank?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Oh, they have 3, don't they?
3 whale sharks.
Yeah, they have 3. That's pretty amazing. It's a great aquarium.
Man, I could, you can spend the night in there.
I'm sure you could hide and
I'm saying they have
found anywhere.
They have this deal. Probably costs $18,000 where you and your family can bring your sleeping bags in that main room where it's the huge tank and it's got like the seating kind of, the tiered seating. They let you spend the night in there.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
How cool would that be?
Yeah.
So anyway, we did that part of the aquarium. It was fantastic. Ended up going to the Coca-Cola place.
I hear that's kind of a bummer.
I liked it. The girls loved it. It's
Can you make your own kind of like?
Yeah, you can. You get to taste all these different concoctions that the Coca-Cola company have created in different countries around the world. They have like 85 different brands and 18,000 different flavors of soft drink. Well, dude, I was not feeling good, so I went through the first part of the Coke plant, and then I just left. I couldn't. I had to leave. I had to go get some fresh air. Mm-hmm. Plus, I had to take the scooters back. Have you heard about these scooter deals in all these cities? So
the birds or the limes?
The limes, the birds. Yeah. Anyway, the best part of the trip for the girls, literally, we're riding the scooters around all over the place. So I had to make sure we got the scooters back to a safe place, checked out of the hotel. So I had left the Coca-Cola place just a little early on Sunday. Yeah. I got you. But it was a really good trip.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything going on in your world, man? Any illnesses, viruses, influenza?
No. We're all. But this time of year, I will tell you that I am more proactive in washing my hands. And the other day we were going to go to the movie. It was at the height of the flu thing.
Oh yeah.
I told Harris, I was like, "Look, bro, we are not going to the movies. I'm not sitting in that room with 60 people, just hammering each other."
Smart move,
right? So I am in my old age starting to get a little bit better about staying away from the idiots like yourself that want to go out in public.
Hey, it's my girl's birthday, bro. What am I going to do? I got to go
because Lucy Rose deserves that. But I got a real problem, especially working in an office with people that are sick and they come in. I'll just be here for a minute.
Why?
I'm getting ready.
Why come in
for a minute?
Exactly. Get your ass back home, Mr. Postman.
Yeah.
Just stay over there. We don't need you. We don't need you over here
that
infecting.
Drives me bananas.
Yes.
Drives me bananas. But no, I've dodged the bug. Hopefully for now.
Good. Well, I hope you don't get it because it's absolutely terrible.
Sounds awful. But I had a flu shot. So maybe, I don't know, but I'm with you, man. Every strain it comes out with some mutant strain, and next thing you know, you got the slug flu or something.
Did you say mutants?
Mutants, yeah.
You want to hear any more alien wilds?
Did you have any more alien adventures?
After our last,
let's tell our people that you've had quite an encounter with
several close encounters, if you will, Hank.
Okay.
See what I've done there?
I know.
Close encounters.
That wasn't very witty. Yes, everybody saw what it was.
I thought it was pretty witty. Well, anyway, after our last podcast, I did get several, and this just might be people buying into the conspiracy theory because people like to believe in aliens. They want to believe there's life out there. So after our podcast, I received at least 2 text messages, Hank. At least 2. At least 1.5 text messages of people saying, "Hey, I support you, Mr. East, because I believe too." Since this last podcast, however, I have not encountered any other strange things. I did see some real strange people in Atlanta, but I don't think they were aliens. I just think they were normal people that live in Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nothing too odd, but we'll get, I'm going to keep searching. I'm still looking.
All right.
I'm still looking for some more proof.
Good looking out.
That they're out there. All yeah. Right. So, this weekend, Hank, we had the ACC tournament. It was pretty awesome. I got to go to the ACC tournament on a Thursday. Phenomenal. Steve Mull, Mr. Mull. He's a great dude in the Hickory area.
New listener.
And a new listener. You said that he just downloaded the app or podcast this week. So he called, or he had he's a fellow state man, and he knew that I'm a state fan and man. And he said, hey, we got an extra ticket. Meet at this spot, 9:45 a.m. Games at 12:30 against the number 2 team in the country, Virginia Cavaliers. Let's head down to Charlotte. And sure enough, we piled in that car in this big Suburban he's got. He's got the setup basically like a little bar in there, if you will.
Right.
It's 9:45 in the morning. What do you do on the way to the ACC tournament?
Well, what do you do on the? Not what do you do? It's what do you do?
What do I do? Well, there's a bar in there, and we're on our way to the ACC tournament. You know what I'm going to do?
Have a drink,
of course. So or two, and so we get down there at about 11:30. Charlotte, mad props to Charlotte. So within the last month, they've had the NBA All-Star Game,
right,
and the ACC tournament, and the place was spotless. There was stuff to do everywhere. I was just so impressed.
Great town, man.
We rode the links, so we parked our car miles away and rode the links. That's that little tram, trolley, whatever, train system. Clean, man. Just awesome.
Right.
I was like, man, this feels like a big city.
It is a big city, Chad.
It is a big city now. But anyway, thoroughly impressed. We go into our seats. It's awesome. We're club level, 8 rows from the floor.
Nice.
Right behind, like the Virginia bands over here. They keep showing the Virginia drummer on TV. And I was like, man, we might get on television.
Yeah, I would like to say that it would probably be hard to get those seats, but I imagine for the state game, it's not that difficult. I imagine that.
Why would you say that?
During the Duke or the Carolina game or the Virginia game, you're nowhere near getting that close. But I do remember you sending a picture of the game.
Yes.
And it looked like there were 4 people in there watching that game. Nobody likes that team.
We were there early. They filled in a lot of people came toward the start of the game. We were there an hour early,
like
right?
6, 7 more that showed
at least. So anyway, we've got the great seats. They keep showing the drummer. I told the guys I was with, dude, this camera is going to pan right on us because we were literally right here. 15 minutes later, sure enough, the camera pans. Boom. We look on the big screen, and we had 4 guys in our row. It shows Russell Coley, who's sitting next to me, Winston Lyerly, and then Greg Coley. And I'm wearing my hat a little tilted to the side. You can just see my hat on the big screen. I'm like, come on, dude, move your camera over at 1 inch. And I could get on the big screen where they showed their ugly mugs on the Jumbotron for like 12 seconds. It was hilarious. So I think they might have got on television for a brief 3 seconds,
Nobody was watching.
Of course.
It's okay. I mean, yeah. I would like to say that I saw them, but I wasn't watching that game.
Yeah, well, it wasn't much to see. We were up at halftime, and then we ended up losing by 22. So it was a disaster. But anyway, it's just good being down there. Did you being a Carolina fan, that Carolina Duke game on Saturday, one for the record books. No, Friday night, I'm sorry. One for the ages.
It was, and I grew up hating Duke. Like Carolina hated Duke. Right. And I have respect for Coach K, right? And Zion Williamson is one of the best basketball players I've ever seen.
So legit.
So legit.
Yep.
And, I was nervous that Carolina was going to lose by a lot, but the way that they played them was pretty impressive. And that rivalry is something, how close they are in that rivalry is amazing.
It's unreal.
It's incredible. And so I have respect for that team. I hate them.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in my body that doesn't want them to lose first round of this tournament, but I do respect them.
Yeah. So you saying it being so close, they showed that stat that they're within, I don't know, maybe
2 points?
Over 100 plus games within 2 points of each other.
Crazy.
Amazing. Crazy. Absolutely amazing. Well, speaking of the NCAA, it kicks into gear Thursday.
Yep.
We've had a trip that my friend, high school buddies and I have gone on it's our 19th year, Hank. 19 years. On Thursday of March Madness, we pile into a truck, van, any vehicle we can get our hands on.
Sure.
We cruise down to Cherry Grove, set up shop for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and come home on a Sunday. You've been to this trip with us a few times.
I've witnessed this trip.
Yeah. do you remember your favorite moment of your March Madness memories of this trip?
I've got a couple favorite moments.
Go ahead and share with the audience. Yeah, share with the audience.
You know, some of them involve you.
Oh,
you know, I remember enjoying watching you wake up at our house one morning, and I think you're using a washcloth, or was it a newspaper?
No, it was a newspaper for a pillow and a washcloth for a blanket.
For a blanket. I do remember that, and it was cold in there too.
It was 60 degrees. I was I think I came home with pneumonia, but I remember Tucker and CJ in that nice warm bed, and I was like, y'all have anything you could throw down here? It's so cold. And they gave me a washcloth for my blanket. That's so mean.
I also remember our friend Paul Breeding getting really inebriated on the golf course, throwing a ball into the club, having to go apologize to those individuals and buy them a drink. When we drove home, he was so angry. He was spiking balls and everything. Yes. But we had about 45 minutes before the Carolina game came on. All of us were worried that he would run through the TV. He passed out.
He didn't watch one. It did not watch 1 minute of the Carolina
lost because he would have thrown somebody through the TV.
Absolutely.
So that was a great moment also.
Yeah. There's so many. I can't really put my finger on my favorite. One of a memory that's actually probably happened about 15 to 16 years ago. We were staying in Ocean Creek with our friend Will Rowland's mom and dad's place, and we stayed at these villas, and the villas are about 5 floors. Okay. And so we got into this big, long poker game. Let me tell the audience what we do at these trips. Normally we'll get there, we'll pony up to a bar, we'll watch the Thursday night ball games, come home, maybe play a little poker. Friday, wake up, do it all over, play a little golf mixed in. Anyway, it's basketball, golf, drinking beer, hanging out with your friends, eating good food. That's kind of what the trip is. Well, this was on a Thursday night, first where everybody gets there. You haven't seen
energy's high.
You know what I'm saying? You haven't seen your buddies in a while. They're coming from Raleigh. They're coming from all over the place. Energy's high. A lot of hugs, a lot of storytelling, a lot of music. And so before you know it, many times, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and we're still excited and happy. This particular trip, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and we were like, holy cow, guys, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, where there were 2 of us that really weren't that tired yet.
Chad's famous words.
Yes, one more drink. One more. So I'll say, hey, let's just go walk out on the beach. 5 o'clock in the morning, we'll go out there and we'll come in. Hopefully we'll be tired by then. Well, we walk out on the beach and 5 turns into about 7, and we're walking back, and we see people drinking their coffee, having their breakfast out on the beach, and we're like, whoa, what time is it? So we're still drinking our beers.
Sure.
So we're coming back, and then we go to the place where we're staying and knock on the door. Everyone's a sleepy time in there, and no one is responding to knocking on the door because everybody stayed up really late. They're very tired. So our place was on the 4th floor.
Oh.
I go around back, start climbing up the side of the villa. Okay, Hank? Like Spider-Man. I'm passing people as they're eating breakfast outside on their little screened-in porches. I'm going by them. Good morning. Good morning. Just cruising on up here. Good morning to the next one.
What is it, a cinnamon roll? Looks delicious.
Smells wonderful in there. Do you mind if I take a swallow of that orange juice? But anyway, I get to our place and scooch around where I can open the door to the screened-in porch and get us in. Maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life. Man, what am I thinking?
What were you thinking?
Yeah, I just was ready to get inside and go to bed, I guess. But
I
anyway,
that.
Shimmy up 4 floors.
That's ridiculous.
Stupid. But that's what happens on these trips.
Let me tell you something. I talked to one of the people that are coming with you on this trip this weekend.
Okay.
And I said, are you ready for it? Are you geared up? And he said, the one thing that I've learned on these trips more than anything is to manage your Chad time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
There seems to be a factor that goes along with these things, and it really revolves around you. Okay? And so what the problem is that individuals get caught in this vortex that you have going on, and the next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Nobody likes to stay up till 5 o'clock. Nobody does.
I enjoy it.
I don't. Nor does this guy. But he was like, I don't know when to encounter Chad. Yeah. Do I get him at 3 p.m.? Maybe I go early. 10:30.
Get it done with early.
Get it done.
Get it over with.
Maybe you won't want to hang out with me the rest of the day. I don't know. But the moral of the story is get your Chad time in early.
Chad time in. You get to the bed early, right?
Bed early.
So we're going down here for March Madness. You've seen the brackets. They've come out. exciting. Carolina's the number 1 seed. Duke's the number 1 seed. Virginia's the number 1 seed. NC State, again, did not make it. Ludicrous. This is ridiculous that they don't get in, but we'll talk about that on another podcast, okay?
Ridiculous.
So, brackets. Have you filled one out? Do you fill one out? Do you let your family fill one out? Tell me about your bracket strategy, Hank.
So, to win these things, you have to pick a path that not everybody's going to pick.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got to make a couple reaches. And either you're going to be a champion or you're going to flop.
Be a big loser.
Right.
Yes.
Now, my final game, you got to go with like who you think's going to be there. You can't be like, oh yeah, Liberty's going all the way. I mean, you got to have some legitimate.
Sure, of course.
But those first 2 games, the first round, the second round,
right?
You got to take some chances.
Take some underdogs.
Take some chances.
Yes.
Right. And I like Liberty.
Me too.
I like Liberty in their first match.
Yes.
I like Wofford. I like them in their first game.
I like Yale. Keep your eye on Yale.
I don't like Yale because I think they're playing. Who are they playing?
Yale's playing LSU, who is minus their coach. I'm telling you, upset pick, lock and load, platinum bailout pick of the century, Hank.
I think we played this before. Yale
Bulldogs. It's a new week, Hank. It's a new week.
I'm just saying that's the strategy. That is the strategy.
Okay.
If you think that Duke's going to win the whole thing, then bring Duke to it, but take a couple risks on those other games.
Sure.
I
got you.
Who do you what's your final 4 pick?
Okay, so here's where I'm going. Let me look at the bracket real quick while we're talking. I should have it memorized by as many times as I've looked at it over the last couple days, but I've got Duke coming out. I think they're in the East. I've got Texas Tech, 3 seed, coming out of the West. I've got Kentucky coming out of, I think that's Carolina's side.
It is.
And then I've got, in a really great battle, Virginia and Tennessee, I've got Virginia coming. So I've got Duke, Virginia, Texas Tech, and Kentucky. But this tournament, I have really good feeling about this. The first 2 games, like you said, Thursday and Friday, which we're getting ready to experience, we're going to see more upsets in these first 2 games than we've seen ever before. But when it gets down to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, the Final 4, the cream will rise. I see a lot of 1 and 2 seeds making it to the Final 4.
I see Gonzaga getting beat by Florida State.
Can see it.
I see them. I have Duke coming out of the East, Michigan coming out of the West.
Okay. Got it.
I have Villanova beating Virginia.
Villanova, really?
In the South.
Okay.
And then I have Chapel Hill being there in the Midwest. That's a hard one. That's kind of a homer pick.
And actually, I think Carolina's bracket's the hardest bracket.
By far the hardest.
They got to go through many a landmine. But
it would be incredible if it were Duke Carolina. Incredible in the finals.
Can you imagine that? A couple people have actually picked that final. I saw some of the dudes on ESPN. They had Duke Carolina in the final. I don't think we'll see it, but it would be pretty. I don't think that's ever happened, right? There's no way that's happened. Duke Carolina in the NCAA finals, no way. But anyway, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to getting down there. So normally on our way back, I'm very tired on the Sunday. Mm-hmm. So normally the guys that I ride down with, they help me build a little pallet in the back. And so the pallet consists of some old newspapers. We crinkle them up. I can use them as a blanket or a pillow. Normally there's a few Slim Jims. I have a Slim Jim, like one at my head in case I just need to lean over and take a bite of something. I've got one Gatorade, got a Coke product, normally Coca-Cola, sometimes a Sprite. There's always lottery tickets laying around me. I got a lot of lottery tickets laying around, and we'll normally stop at Bojangles or something. So I might have a chicken tender or a French fry laying just around in my little pallet.
Okay.
And then I lay down and I wake up in Hickory. It's amazing. Great. It's such an amazing trip home. Yeah, I can't wait. Looking forward to it. Hey, before we jump into our next segment, let's take a quick minute to thank our sponsor.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
And we're back, Hank. Thank you very much to our sponsors, and thank you to the Mesh. I'm telling you, this studio has got it going on, bro. A lot of exciting things happen up and down the hallways of the Mesh studio here in beautiful Hickory, North Carolina. We're great to be I'm happy to be a part of it, as are you. Hank, breaking news. Coming off the wire, hot here, Hank. Mike Trout, your favorite Major League Baseball player.
I do like him.
Is getting ready to, or maybe he has already signed. Finalizing a contract worth, this has got to be a misprint. $432 million over 12 years.
Yes.
Let's do the math real quick. What does that break down to? Wow. I'm not very good at math, but I would say that works out to be 36. That's nearly $36 million.
$35 million a year.
To play game, to hit a little ball with the wood.
Desperate, jealous little man.
I mean, what in the hell? You going to pay?
No, listen.
If you were, okay, let's talk about it. Look, you're the baseball fan.
Their setup is weird. The baseball setup's weird, okay? So they have you for 6 years where they can pay you the league minimum. They don't have to negotiate crap.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
But what is the advantage is you can hold on to, like, he could be as a future all-star and pay them league minimum, but can they?
Right. So, like, when Trout gets drafted,
yes.
Okay, he goes in and they sign him for whatever. It's your signing bonus. Right?
Okay.
You get your signing bonus. And say he signed for $2 million out of high school.
Okay.
Right? His next year, he gets league minimum, what the Crawdads league minimum is, and that's $18,000.
No.
Now, the kid that got drafted in the 64th round, who didn't get a signing bonus, is making $18,000. He's driving a Corolla.
I understand.
Right? Mike Trout's got his Benz.
For 6 years, though?
Listen.
Okay, you're getting
he's
there.
got his signing bonus of millions of dollars, right?
Got it.
So next year he moves up to AA or high A. He gets paid $26,000. Then he goes to AA and he gets paid $48,000. Then he goes to AAA and he gets paid $120,000. Then he gets to the big leagues, okay? And he's making $550,000.
That's the minimum.
League minimum in the major leagues.
Got it.
Okay? So Mike Trout gets the league early. He gets after his third year, okay? Gets paid $550,000. Rookie of the year, all-star team, right?
Got it.
Next year he gets there too, right? He's like, hey, I'm kind of a big deal in baseball. How about before my deal comes up, you give me $1 million or $2 million, and then when I negotiate, it'll be cool. They say, you know what? You are a big deal. We're going to bump that $550,000 to $580,000. He said, all right, I'm going to get mine when I get it.
Holy cow.
So this is where this comes into play.
Yes.
Right? Because they knew that they were going to have to pay him.
Eventually, they're going to have to ante up.
The problem is that the system is broke because it's so hard to make it to the major leagues in baseball. There's so many kids. So you're right.
Yes.
So they're taking these gambles. So these kids are playing for nothing at the beginning of their career and being successful.
Right.
Where they have the owners just completely on lockdown, and they say, you're going to pay me, and you're going to pay me a long-term deal. But all of these contracts, these 13-year contracts, 12-year contracts, are worthless after year 6.
Got it.
Worthless.
Yeah.
So they're paying these guys. And so this great, if there's anybody in baseball that's worth the most, if anybody should be the most, that be paid the most out of any baseball player in Major League Baseball, it deserves to be Mike Trout, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I would argue that pitchers make more of an impact, and I would rather take $400 and some million and go sign 4 arms.
Right.
And see you in the playoff and say, come get me. But Mike Trout is going to sell jerseys.
That's what
He's going to sell, he's going to,
it's going to be attraction.
TV. It's going to be all that. And I understand that. If there's a person out there, Bryce Harper cannot hold this guy's jock when it comes to baseball. Bryce Harper's deal is going to go down as a bad deal. Really bad deal. This one will go down as a kind of a bad deal.
Because of the money, but really,
and the length,
and the length of it too.
It's the length of it. Because I mean, it's all these guys. All these teams want to pay him $35 million,
right?
But they want to pay him $35 million for 5 years.
Got it.
Every one of them will pay that. He wants 13 years or 12 years because he knows he's going to be crap,
right?
In 10
and still getting paid. Because does baseball work that once you sign that deal, that deal is locked?
There are plenty of players that are sitting at home that are getting paid. Bob,
let's talk about one.
Okay, so baseball has a tendency to have the worst deals of all time.
Right.
Worst deals because of the longevity of it.
Yes.
Right. You're paying guys that you think are going to be the studs and you're really just paying, hey, let's try to win a World Series in the next 4 years. That's what you're saying because you know they're going to be bad. So if you look at terrible, terrible deals.
Well, let's go ahead and do this, Hank. Let's do a Hank's hierarchy real quick of the worst 4 sports deals of all time. All right, you go ahead and start with one of your worst deals of all time here. Hank's hierarchy.
Albert Pujols.
Yes.
Okay, he drops bombs, and he had some great years. But they paid that cat. I think they paid him like he made like 200 some million. He still owed like 84 million of it.
Oh my God! How old is he now? Like 50?
Yeah, he's my age.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's like 42.
Wow.
So he's going to end up getting paid this money for years.
Yes.
And he's not even producing. Now he's still playing.
He still plays, right?
But he's going to be hitting 210. He'll hit 25 home runs or 30 home runs. But he's not going to be the guy that they thought he was going to be.
Right.
So that's one I feel bad. You want me to keep going, or you want to say yours?
I've got one here. Let's say one of the worst sports trades in history. They call it the Herschel Walker trade. It was the largest player trade in the history of the National Football League. It consists of 18 different players, Hank, and multiple draft choices. What the Minnesota Vikings got in return with the trade with the Dallas Cowboys is Dallas Cowboys traded to the Minnesota Vikings, Herschel Walker. Minnesota felt like they were one player away from making the Super Bowl run. Kind of what you're talking about, these baseball guys. One player away. They traded 4 draft picks and multiple players. The draft picks that they traded to get Herschel Walker, who played an all right. He was a pro bowler that year, but after that injury succumbed and he was no longer the player that he was before then. The Cowboys got Emmitt Smith, Russell Maryland, Michael Irvin, an offensive lineman, 2 defensive backs that 3 years later, they won 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So probably the worst trade in NFL history of what they had to give up to get a superstar, but the superstar's longevity was fleeting. He lasted really one more year, and they had to give up all that to get him.
Right.
Give me another one.
So I stay in baseball because they're awful. All of them are awful. Chris Davis. I don't know if you know this.
Oh,
guy.
I know Chris Davis. Yep.
Played at Texas, ended up signing with the Orioles. Orioles were a contender.
Remember.
And then they gave a bunch of stuff up for him.
Yes.
Chris comes in.
Terrible trade. Yes.
He comes in, and he hit like 50 home runs one year, and then next year he comes in the Orioles and then doesn't do anything.
Right.
Okay. He is, in the MLB, last in WAR. Okay, so WAR is a statistic that they've started keeping, and it's wins against replacement.
Okay.
So with somebody else in there, they have a better chance to win. He's the worst person in the league.
Wow.
And he's got one of the highest contracts.
Wow. And which makes sense because they're saying the Baltimore Orioles might have one of the worst teams and records of all time in baseball history this year. That's how bad this team is.
He's terrible.
Awful. Well, I would say probably another one of the worst trades in sports history would probably go down. I'm going to say it was in 1996. Yeah, it was 1996. And the Charlotte Hornets, who was my favorite NBA team at the time and still are, they had a draft pick. I want to say it was maybe the number 12 or number 13 overall pick. They drafted Kobe Bryant. And I was like, yes, Kobe Bryant, this dude is going to be a superstar. Well, Kobe, behind the scenes with his agent, had already negotiated a deal that he wanted to be in L.A. to play.
Right.
The Charlotte Hornets give up the rights to Kobe Bryant for Vlade Divac. Do you remember this trade?
I want to cry about it every time I think about it.
What in the world? And maybe their hands were tied and they had to do it, but the Kobe for Vlade Divac, Kobe goes down in history as maybe top 5 best basketball player of all time, right? Of all time. Multiple championships, multiple MVPs, and we get Vlade Divac. It kind of turned the whole Charlotte Hornets team into the mess that they are now back in 1996, Hank. Terrible trade.
So that is an awful trade. My second, the second worst one of all time is, it's probably not the second, but it was very evident because I like the Braves and I watched the Braves. And Dan Uggla, do you remember that steroid jacked up little fool that played second base?
I remember that dude. Yeah.
He played with the Marlins and had a great 3 years before arbitration, before he got into his deal. Then Atlanta signs him to one of the largest contract deals and extends it, right? Uggla at some point is at home for 4 years getting a paycheck.
Wow.
4 years. 4 years. Not even on a field. Nobody would pick him up. Atlanta's like, I'm footing the bill. You could pay him to anything. Nobody wanted him. That's how bad he sucked.
Wow. If someone were to pick him up, do they have to start helping out with the contract then?
No, they have to pay him league minimum.
Oh, wow.
If they felt like he could help.
So the Braves were on the hook anyway.
Oh my unless they could trade for him. Like some people would do that, if they feel like they've got a little bit more life out of him. I know Josh Hamilton had a bunch of that happen when he got traded. People would like, all right, I'll eat some of yours.
This, right.
So I can have a leader in mind, but he wasn't a leader.
Yeah.
He's a drug addict.
Yeah. Has he gone back to the dark side?
Oh, I think he's in and out.
Oh, you're kidding. What a sad story, because it was a remarkable story when he made it. He made it out of those tough times.
Yep.
I mean, he almost died, right?
Yeah.
And then he came back and he became not a Hall of Fame. He became an All-Star. Yeah, right?
And he won the
Home Run Derby. Sure. Well, with baseball season, I know this is a real heavy sports show today, Hank, but shoot, we haven't had one of these in a long time.
I know.
You got baseball kicking into gear, right? It's right around the corner. Do you have a favorite this year? What are people looking to
I think Atlanta's,
the World Series?
It's always the Cubs. It's always the Astros, the Dodgers, the Yankees. I think the Braves have a good shot. I think the Braves are pretty young. They're good. If they have the pitching, I think that they're going to be pretty good. They've got some young guys that they don't have a lot of money in.
Right.
So I think they're in a good kind of spot.
And that's your team? You're a Braves fan?
Yeah, I like Atlanta. Yeah. But, it's always those big market teams.
Yeah.
You don't ever, although the Brewers made a pretty good run last year, you don't ever see the Brewers. Kansas City made a run a couple years ago. I like to see that. But, it's going to be those big market teams.
Yeah. I don't keep up with too much baseball, but it's always fun at the very beginning to watch a couple games, and then I watch them at the very end for the playoffs. So yeah, we'll keep that in mind here as the baseball season kicks into gear. Hank, man, other stuff going on around Hickory in the next couple weeks. I know we got a Science Center Gala happening. It should be a lot of fun. The March Madness fun is right upon us right now. Any other really exciting stuff that tickles your fancy? Because, I think you got your baseball season for your little boy happening right now.
Yeah, we're in the midst of it. He's on 2 teams, and so we're on
two teams.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's good because he's playing rec ball, which is, what we've played forever. And then he's playing on this little travel ball team, and he's playing up, and so he's playing with a little bit kids that are a little bit older. And in our league, he likes to play and he works hard at it, and he's had pretty good success. For an 8-year-old, for a 7-year-old, he just enjoys playing. Well, now he's playing up with these kids, and he's having to play outfield. He's hitting ninth.
Yeah,
he's striking out, and it's good character time,
sure.
Like it's good things in sports where you learn to fail and do it well, and then
right.
Work hard and come back. So it's kind of, we're starting to get into that. Hey, this is why you have to practice. This is why you have to do it so you get better at it. So that's really what we're kind of into, which is good. It's been good. There's no better time of the year for me than right now.
This is your favorite time?
Yeah, we have practice, and thank goodness he loves it. Since you're on 2 teams. We practiced last night. We practiced tonight. We're gonna practice on Wednesday. We'll practice Saturday. So we'll have plenty of practice.
Wow.
But it's because he wants to do it. And,
yeah.
One
interesting thing that's happened to me, I can't believe I completely forgot about this, but my oldest daughter Olivia is in 8th grade, so she's going to high school next year. So last night was the parents' orientation to Hickory High, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't held at the high school. They actually came to Grandview, with the middle school where Olivia is, and the principals came and they tell you about what to expect at Hickory High and all these things.
Drugs, gun fights, everything like that. Is that what they're doing?
A lot of fights, yeah. A lot of stabbings. Nah, it wasn't anything like that. They were talking about how grades work, and A is 100 to a 90 and this and that, and how there are 4 everything has basically changed from when we were in high school.
Right.
The grade systems, there's only 4 classes. You do this thing called tornado time where there's no lunch time anymore. There's an hour and a half called tornado time that you can go to eat lunch, or then you can go to your club, like music club or debate club or whatever, or you can do homework. But it's an hour and a half set aside. I'm still confused on how it works.
It's lunch and you don't have to eat lunch.
It's lunch and you don't have to eat lunch, but it's an hour and a half. So they won't I wouldn't think they let the kids hang out for an hour and a half, or I don't know. We'll find out. Tornado time is new to me, right?
All right.
Yep. So there's also a new school in town. It's been around for a little while. It's called HCAM. So it's like an arts and science kind of school,
right,
where you can mix Hickory High and HCAM, different classes. A van will take you to and from these. It's like they're almost in college. There's also another thing that you can go your junior and senior year. All your classes are at Lenore Ryan University. You don't even go to the high school. You take your classes at LR or at CVCC.
Yeah, and you can come out with an associate's degree.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable, man. Crazy. All these new things that are happening. So anyway, I sat down and because my oldest daughter is a scholar. I mean, she's smart, real smart girl.
And she's good.
Yeah, she's good athlete. She's very well-rounded little girl, but I could tell her she's just every word that the principal said, she's absorbing it, just trying to figure out. She's nervous, man. She was like, I don't know if I'm ready because they kept stressing responsibility by the student. You know, it's not the teacher's or the parent's responsibility. You got to be responsible for your homework. You're responsible to make sure that you get to class and do all these things. So anyway, she's not sure if she's ready for all that, but she will be.
Let me tell you something, Olivia. Hank Eimer, going from 8th grade to 9th grade, was nervous too. Nervous for a different reason. Nervous because your dad and his friends try to pin me in a corner and try to give me a wedgie.
Try to give him wedgies, yes.
Yep, try to pin me in a corner.
I remember that.
At the club. I remember it.
Yeah, I remember it too.
I was pretty shifty.
Yeah.
I was pretty shifty. Oh. And then, you know where I got it?
Where did you get your wedgie finally?
I'll tell you where I got it. We were down at the lower field behind the baseball field, and we were all practicing. And it was JV, and it was
at the high school.
At the high school.
Gotcha.
It was JV and varsity. We had like this little makeshift field off to the left, and you guys were playing on the other field.
Yep.
It started raining, thundering and lightning, and we had to run to the dugouts.
I remember this. How crazy! This is 20-some years ago.
Yeah, we had to run to the dugouts.
Yes.
So we go to third. I go to third base dugout, right? And I look over to that first base dugout. There's all my boys. Every single one of them is in that first base dugout.
Yes.
And then I look down to the third base dugout, and I'm in the varsity dugout. And I am by myself.
Yeah.
And before I could get up off that bench and get out of that dugout, I had underwear snatched from my body.
Oh, those times. I wonder if that ritual is still around.
Oh, you can't touch it.
You can't do wedgies anymore? Wow.
No.
They're getting soft these days.
Yep.
Yeah. My wedgie experience happened at the center. And I just wanted to get over with. You know, I ran around a little bit, but eventually I just said, just do it. Let's get it over with.
Get out of here.
It was at the center, I think, right before you got into the teen room where Hat and them made the suicides out there, that little area.
Oh, yeah.
So I got it right there. And there were only like 5 people there, so it was good. My friend Casey got it at the high school at lunchtime in front of like 200 people.
That's not good.
That's not a good one.
I got one at a game, too, at a football game.
Did you?
My freshman year. From the year that graduated before y'all that were freshmen in college came back, caught me at a game. Yeah, it wasn't very cool.
I didn't know. I thought that was off limits. Once you go to college, you can't come back and give wedgies.
My sister was dating a guy who was a freshman, and him and his buddies decided that it was on.
Oh, poor Hank. Poor Hank.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I wish Olivia the best, and with her adventures into the high school, she's going to do great. So, Olivia, if you're listening, keep your head up. It's going to be awesome. And we have soccer season has kicked in to gear for the Grandview Middle School Eagle girls. They went 2 years, Hank, with 1 win. Last year, they scored 1 goal all year. Had their first game of the season last Wednesday. 9-0 victory.
Yeah, I heard
9-0 victory. So maybe they're on their way up. And just to see those girls' faces, because they did not taste victory one time last year. And in 2 years, they tasted it once.
Right.
So for them to feel, they were elated, just on cloud 9. So hopefully they'll keep the winning going and stay happy.
You know, that happened at the high school, too. The high school girls haven't won a game since like 16 in softball. Okay. Our friend Chad
Hewitt, yes,
is coaching them this year.
Love this dude.
And they won their first game, and one of the seniors was quoted in the paper, said, I didn't think I was going to get a win in high school, and it was well worth the wait.
You know that makes Chad feel so. Oh, way to go, Chad. Very proud of you, because that dude is awesome. He is a wonderful dude. Congratulations, Chad. Congratulations, Hickory High School softball. Congratulations, Grandview Middle School Eagles. And congratulations to you.
Dude, this is for what? Wearing you out on tennis court today?
No, not really, but just for being an all-around good dude, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
I never know where you're going with something like this, so I'm always on guard.
Yes, I can see. You're like a little edgy right now.
I am a little edgy.
But please wish me the best as I begin my travels to Cherry Grove on Thursday.
I wish your liver the best.
It will be fine.
But let's not have
a lot of training.
liver shutdown over there, okay?
We won't.
Okay.
Oh, we got a new house. This house has a pool. It's on the waterway, like on the canal.
It's going to be 50 degrees over there.
It's supposed to be 75 degrees in Cherry Grove on Thursday and Friday. Oh,
Send me a picture of you in the pool. We'll see how comfortable it is.
I'll be swimming around with little floaties on. It's going to be awesome, bro. I can't wait.
Well, hey, how far is the house from your brother? Now, to let the audience know, your brother and his group,
his high school buddies,
Neanderthals, are probably not that far away, and it's going to be.
They're like they're probably about 4 or 5 blocks walking distance. At like 2 o'clock in the morning, you got to be very careful. It's long enough, probably get there in about 10, 15 minute walk. So not too far. We're about 2 blocks from the Bolinos in Cherry Grove and from the Hodos, the bar. That's the bar where people shag and dance and all that stuff. The pier's 2 blocks from us. Got hermit crabs for sale right up the street. We've got all kinds of fun stuff.
Come back with an airbrush shirt.
I will have one. Don't worry about that, Hank. So anyway, we're looking forward to
big fan. Let's get one that says big fan on it.
Oh, yes.
Airbrush shirt that says big fan.
I'm sure they're out there. And for all you big fan fanatics, y'all keep it up. Please download, subscribe to our podcast, spread the word. We're really trying to grow this thing. As the mesh grows, so is the Big Fan Podcast. So anyway, we'll look forward to talking to you in about 2 weeks. Good luck, Carolina. Not really. Good luck, NC State, in their NIT game tonight. Yay. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.